Okay. 8.2, law of cosines. Like most all of these math books, this is a scaffolding setup. So once you get into the law of cosines, you have to use law of cosines and law of sines that we just did. And that angle plus angle plus angle equals 180 degrees for all triangles. And there's a couple places you could use the Pythagorean theorem, which if you're comfortable with that, do that. It doesn't matter. So I did the same thing I did on the others. I didn't draw any triangles, but I wrote down the information they gave you. Then, I'll see why this is smeared now. Wrote down and left blanks where there were blanks. All of the triangles where they gave you seconds and minutes, it's supposed to. I just went online and changed that to a decimal. That's fine with me. Go online, find a place. I put in a degree minute calculator, and then I picked the one that I liked the best because it came up with like 10. Okay, let's see. It seems like there was something. Let me flip through these. Got 2 to a page. Most all of them have 3 steps. Oh yeah, for example, like you can't use the Pythagorean theorem because most of these are not right triangles. I wonder if this is the... on 9, I got an error message. You can't make a triangle with those sides. Now, I'm going to say this mostly because some of you guys might go on, or you might run into somebody who tells you this. I knew this triangle wouldn't work from the beginning because there is a law, a geometry law, that says any 2 sides must sum to be bigger than the other side. So I looked immediately at this and saw that 2 plus 3 is 5, and 5 is not bigger than 8. There's no way to put a 2-inch and a 3-inch piece of wire together and make it reach 8 inches. It just won't work. Even if you laid it completely end to end, that's 5 inches total. But if you don't notice that, it's not going to make any difference. If you worked in construction, you would eventually get the hang of that simply because it would happen and you'd have to deal with it. But this is one of those deals where when you use something, it is much easier to deal with than if you're just doing it on paper for no reason, which is what we're doing. We're doing stuff on paper for no reason. So I knew that one wouldn't work, but I went ahead and started it, let myself get an error message. Same. Keep going. 16, the same thing happened. I just went ahead and started it, even though I also looked at that one and realized it wouldn't work because 15.4 plus 1.5 is 16.9, which is not big enough to go 17 yards. Here's the one I was talking about last section. On 18, I suspect that was supposed to be a right triangle. It works, but you would have to round off to either get a right triangle, or you would have had to not round off to make it work out as a right triangle. That's pretty tricky. It's very specific. On 21, also kind of a trick question. I don't know if you all remember this, but in geometry, there was no angle congruency. You could prove triangles similar, but that's because you can take that set of angles and make a triangle this big, or this big, or this big, or as big as you want, or as small as you want. It makes an infinite number of triangles because the angles are all the same. It's the sides that really determine how big or small it's going to be. And I did all the way through 24. Oops, left my blanks out on this last page, but y'all can sort that out. And like I said, there'll be some on the test. Y'all can sort through them.